I'm Sip Mendez. Welcome to Sip's Wood Chips. Back around Christmas time, I made this Christmas ornament here. And this is a inside-out turning. So on the first turning, I actually hollowed the space that is in here, and then inserted the bell, and then turned the outside of it. Well, I haven't done any inside-out turnings in a while, so I thought it was about time to do another one. And I was thinking if I did the same thing and kind of inverted it, I could easily make it into a little bud vase. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Before you start any project, make sure to read, understand, and follow all the instructions that come with your power tools and equipment. Woodworking is fun, but it is important to work safely. The methods I may show in my videos, that's the way I do things. They may not be the best way to do it, nor the safest, so it's up to you to use reasonable care. Here's my glue block, and there is a video on how to do these glue blocks. Basically, it's 4 sections. They're cubic in the sense that they're 1.5 by 1.5. That gives me a total of 3 by 3. And 3 times 3 would be about 8 centimeters, 7.5 centimeters by 7.5 centimeters total. And these would be about 3.5 centimeters each, almost 4 centimeters across. Okay? But these are about 25 centimeters, or about 8 inches. And what I'm going to use of it is basically this much. So I need just a little bit of extra room over here, and then I need a little bit of room over here to eventually mount it in the jaws of my chuck. It's a little bit noisy in here. It's pretty hot, and I've got 2 fans on right now, so you'll hear a little bit of a lot of humming in the background. I laid this a little dirtier than usual because this is my second try. So here's my block, and I went ahead and used a little tool here to help center where my holes are going to be. You want to be right as close to center as you can, but it's really hard because there's glue there. So we're going to mount this one over here, and I'm using a cup size type tailpiece to help hold things together. Some turners take a little bit of more precaution than I do, and they will use fiberglass tape and tape these together as an extra level of safety. I haven't had any problems. Now, when you turn this, remember, you are not going to true up the blank. You're not going to rough turn the blank. You always have to leave some flat spaces or places for the to re-glue it together, and they have to be flat. This is a silhouette of what I'm going to do. And this is the inside. This will be solid wood. This is the actual top end on here, and this is the base end over here. And I'm going to remove this wood in here on my first turning. So I'm going to make some marks here to give me some guidelines. And this is not going to be very accurate, but it doesn't need to be. And as I'm hollowing out, I'll make some adjustments. Okay. So this is the part I'm going to remove. I'm going to remove here and here. I'm going to leave some room up here, and I will leave some room up here, and this will eventually be my spigot for grabbing it, and I turn it right side out. Okay. And so let me get ready to turn that. So I'm going to take my flush cutting saw, and I'm going to cut these corners here. That way they don't tear out when I start spinning it. Otherwise I'll have to glue them back on later. And that'll also help me see where I need to turn. I can also mark heavily here so that I can see it when it's spinning. The bad thing about doing these is that if you can't see where you are, then you gotta work from memory. And my memory's not that good. Okay. I also want to mark this as my low spot. Well, actually my highest spot. Maybe I can see them. And this as my lowest spot. Okay. Let me get my face shield. And I'm going to start with the roughing gouge just to get it started. And it's turning about 650 RPMs. Okay, I'm going to take my parting tool and cut some deep notches on the ends. Okay, so I'm going to use a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. So I've re-glued a little bit of the tear out here that looked pretty bad, and I was looking at my original Christmas ornament, and these blades here, these ribs, they're about a little bit over 1 inch in width, and that means that I need to make something similar to this. Then I need to get each section of here down to about 1 inch. So I'm going to let that glue set, and then I will go ahead and start turning it down a little bit more. So I'm going to continue to make this deeper. I've re-glued some of the corners on, but that's okay. Sharpening my chisel certainly has helped. Okay, so this is the throat, and then this will be the flare out. So now my blades, or ribs, should be about an inch. And this should be the throat of the vase. And it should be sufficiently large to get something down in there. Okay, and I think we'll give that a try. Okay, so I've sanded the inside by hand, and I'm ready to bust it apart. And I'm going to go ahead and number these while I have them here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when I'm finished, this will be the center. This will be the center. This will be the center. And this will be the center. And so I'll set it on here. I'll set the blade of my chisel right across the seam. And usually it takes several hits to break it apart. There it goes. Once it starts splitting, it goes pretty easy. Okay. Then I will split this one the same way. This one should be easier because it's not as wide. So this is how I had them numbered before. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll turn these around. 1 will be like this. 2 will be like this. 3 will be here. And 4 will be like that. Okay. And you can see how big the windows are. They're very large. Okay. I'm going to glue this back together, and then we'll be ready to turn it again. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom, and this will be the top. I'm going to round this off and put a spigot on the end to grab it, but I can do most of the shaping. I'm going to rough it and try to pay attention. This is the bottom, this is the top. To just remove the paper. Basically what I want. That's pretty good. Okay. I'll go ahead and round this off. Get this way down. So I'm going to use a quarter-inch parting tool and start forming the tenement. So now I have it mounted in my chuck, and I'm going to keep my tail piece on, just a little extra security. And I'm going to try to follow the contour of the window. Okay, I'm seeing some large holes here, some large gaps. That means I'm at the top of the flare of my vase. I like the bead here, so maybe I'll make a big heavy bead right in here. That might be nice, and then I'll start shaping the foot. And the foot is going to be also make it those large holes. It's pretty good. Most of the rest of this will be sanded and remove any glue or paper left behind. I think I'm ready to part this off. Open that up. And I'm just going to detension it a little bit. The tailstock is barely touching it. Okay, battery ran out on my camera just then, but I've hollowed this out. Still have notches in here, so I have to take a little bit more off the top, and I need to round the outside. So let me do that first. Get rid of all the cardboard. Yes, that looks a lot better. And maybe I can go down that throat a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm sanding this a lot of this by hand. I'm gonna have to sand these parts by hand because when it's spinning, I'm sanding mostly air, and I can't get enough pressure on it. So I'm using 100 grit sandpaper right now, and I'll probably go over it with 150 and maybe 220. But I kind of like this shape. It's unusual to me. I like unusual things. Also sanding the windows open, get rid of any burrs along the edges. I should have given the inside a coat of sanding sealer while it was more easily accessible. But this will be okay. So I'll just continue and sand this I'll continue and sand this offline. I gave it a coat of satin finish lacquer, and I've let that dry for quite a while now, and I've set it in the sun actually for about an hour or so, so it's pretty well dried and hardened. I'm going to use some wipe-on poly. And that should be plenty there. I'm going to use a brush to do the inside surfaces, and then I'll use a small cloth patch to do the exterior. And just like I did before, we'll do the inside. vase. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and give it a quick brushing. Oh, I got the brush. I guess I'll just go ahead and do that. If I have to wipe it with the cloth, I will. So here's the part where drips and runs, it's important to get them out quickly. So I want it to look a bit more hand rubbed. I don't want brush strokes. So I'll rub it down with a small patch of knit material. And I'm going to spread the varnish around and get rid of any drips that stay on the outside. It's had plenty of time to dry. It's only had one coat of lacquer and one coat of wipe-on polyurethane. It looks good enough. Looks shiny enough. I don't want much shinier than that. So I'm going to go ahead and part it off. And I'm going to spin it at about 750. I'm just going to use a 1/8 parting tool. I don't know exactly when it's going to break off because of the hollows in it. Yeah, it looks like it's about to come off already. It looks like it's better that I just take it off with a flush cutting saw. It's already all the way through. That's what I wasn't sure about. I wasn't sure what was holding it on. So there's my finished piece. I'll just sand that off a little bit. So here is my finished vase. I put some big ball bearings in the inside there to dress it a little bit. Hold some nice flowers up on top. If you've enjoyed this video, click on like. If you're not a subscriber, click on subscribe. If you're not a member of YouTube, sign up for an account. It's quick and easy. You'll have a fun time. You can leave comments, ask questions, and get answers.